Good evening. So, this will be lesson two of module three. Again, we're really focused on our words and how they affect our teen and our relationships with them. So, in this lesson, we're going to talk about scripts that invite dialogue instead of resistance. All right, because that's probably the biggest thing. Maybe why you're taking this entire course is you feel a lot of resistance from your team to make good decisions and talk to you about the decisions that they're making. So, you really need to focus in on this entire module because I'm giving you the exact words that you need to say. You just need to practice them and use them a lot so that you don't have to read off of anything. You can just know what to say. So let's get into it. All right. Power scripts that invite dialogue, not resistance. So, agenda for today: ask, don't accuse. Reflective listening, always a great tool, and empowering statements. So, ask, don't accuse. Probably my favorite out of these things from the agenda. You will be surprised how much further you get when you ask questions instead of accusing behavior. Right. So be curious. What made you choose that? Opens up conversation instead of confrontation. So you see your kid, go buy, I don't know, the new Jordans instead of saving any of the money they just got for their birthday. Instead of saying, like, oh, you never save, you spend all your money and then you complain about it later, blah, 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 blah. You make dumb decisions, right? All those are accusatory. Just ask them. Because, normally if you're upset about it, it's because you yourself are confused. So a better way to handle that frustration of being confused is to ask a question instead of accusing. So, what made you choose that? Oh, you got those new shoes? Dope. They look nice. I remember you saying you wanted to start saving. So, what made you decide to buy those shoes instead? And tone is very important with this as well, because you can ask, "Oh, what made you choose that?" Or "Why'd you choose that?" Similar words, very different tone, and a very different reaction will come from your team. Ownership. Questions help teens reflect instead of defend. I really love combining ownership with it'll be the next one, but ownership with the silence. So you ask them a question in a very calm, curious tone, and then you be quiet. You give them time to reflect on it, think about their decision, think about the past, think about the future, whatever they think about in their teenage brain, and then they'll respond to you with a much better answer than I don't know. Respect signal. So teens feel heard, which lowers resistance, right? You sit there, you be quiet, you let them speak, you don't cut them off as you should do with many people. Honestly, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about in these lessons are things you should do with everyone, not just your teenager. Reflective listening. All right. Mirror back. So you felt pressure to buy it, shows empathy, right? So whatever they're going to say, these are the new things. My best friend got them. So I wanted to have them as well. Okay. Yeah. No, your best friend had them. They just came out. I get it. Everybody at school is probably talking about it. That makes sense, right? If you lead off with that instead of immediately saying, that's dumb. If they jump off a bridge, are you going to jump off a bridge? That's that's putting up all the walls in the world. You're not going to get the answers you want. But if you empathize with them, you're like, okay, I can see why you would do this or why you felt like you had to do this. That knocks down the walls and then opens up a lot more room for dialogue. Validation. Acknowledging feelings before correcting behavior builds connection, like we were just talking about. And then pause power. So, this is what I was talking about on the last one. Let silence do the work. Give them space to think. Do not rush answers out of them. You'll get much, much better answers if you just wait. Ask your question, oh, so you felt pressure to buy it or you wanted to match them. No, that makes sense. Are you still happy with that uh, purchase? Do you think you'd do the same thing if that money came to you again and you were in the same situation or a similar situation? And you just sit there, just like this, with that silence cook. All right. Empowering statements. Future focus. What could you try differently next time? Something like that encourages growth, right? I think I probably actually just said that too, right? What could you try differently next time? Or would you do something different next time? Or if this was an alternate reality, and you had that same amount of money, but you had to do something else besides buy those shoes, what would you do with it? I think that's fun, right? Because then it's like if you wanted to answer besides, yeah, do the same thing, or having them double down, pitch it to them like that, to where that's not an option, and they have to pick a secondary option. And it's like, oh, okay, well that sounds pretty good. Maybe you should just try that next time. Uh, Shared problem solving. Let's plan together. Communicates partnership. So after you hear them out on what their reasoning was, what they would do next time, if you feel like they still need more assistance, offer, hey, let's brainstorm on this, on other things we could do that would still satisfy, you feeling like you got to spend your money on something that you wanted, but also got you closer to some of your saving or investment goals. Positive reinforcement, praise effort. I can see you're learning how to manage better. It's a slippery slope. I do recommend you do this, but don't throw it out there if it's not true. I think it's our job as parents, especially with teenagers, to start being more real with our children. If they're not doing better or they're not managing better, don't tell them that they are. But make sure that when they do start to, you acknowledge it and you give them that praise, because that's what's going to push them forward to keep mimicking those betterment actions. Alrighty, summary. Ask, don't accuse. You'll get so many better results with this. Reflective listening. Whatever they say to you, take it in, respond back, pretty much mimicking what they said, but in your own words to show that you understand where they're coming from. Be empathetic. And then empowering statements. As they start to do better, let them know that you acknowledge and you see them doing better, and that you're also there to help them figure out other ways to keep doing better. Cool. And that is lesson 2 of module 3. In lesson 3, we're going to talk about creating teachable moments, because words are great, love the words, but even more so, moments in time and when we can throw these words and have them, linked to a memory, will help out even more. So I'll see you guys in lesson 3.